Hey all, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. So today was the last stage of the group games. Geez, what an entertaining day of rugby. I only got to I wanted to watch two games today. Only two games I wanted to watch today. The other two I wasn't really. Not that I wasn't interested to watch. I just had some work I had to do, and so I woke up 4 o'clock this morning, all ready to watch Namibia kick Canada's butt, and there because there's obviously the build up for the game, and it was cancelled. I was not impressed, even considering that I woke up that early in the morning to watch a game. Yeah, not happy at all. But what can I say? It was kind of depressing that I woke up at 4 and I couldn't watch the game. So I'm just going to go through the scores for the other two games because obviously there was just one big game today, and there's a lot to talk about in that game. So the first game we had USA versus Tonga, and Tonga winning that game 31-19 quite convincingly. Hey, Mr. Rugby fan. Yeah, I must admit, seriously, just I'm so glad that you are Mr. Rugby fan, that you don't exaggerate. And yeah, it has been a while. I was here yesterday, but today I was working again, but I did get to watch some of the games. So yeah, we got Tonga beating USA 31-19. Like I said, I'm not going to go much into those games. Hey, Eddie Ardu, welcome to the show. Next game, we've got Wales versus Uruguay. Wales winning that quite comfortably, 35-13. But like I said, I didn't really watch that game. The one thing I did notice when I was going through the stats, 15 penalties for Uruguay. It's pretty high. I'm pity I missed it. I'm really pity, but I'm sure it'll be repeated somewhere this week, and I'll get to watch it. I planned to watch two games. I missed, obviously the first one was cancelled, and then the second one. And then we get to the game of the day, and I've got to be absolutely honest. Japan versus Scotland, definitely the game of the weekend, definitely the game of the week. It was brilliant. It was an absolutely brilliant game. Japan winning that game 28-21. Yeah, but that last 40 minutes, that's what happens, I think, with the tier 2 nations. I think they do run out of steam. They're very good for a little while, and then that last 20 to 40 minutes they really are out of their depth. But yeah, let's get back to Japan Scotland. What an amazing game! That winger for Japan is deadly. Actually, all their wingers are deadly. But now watching in that first half, the pace of that game, Scotland play fast. Let's be honest, Scotland play extremely fast rugby. That's the way that they play. And they were being outpaced by the Japanese. The Japanese were so fast. It was lightning fast how they were coming out of the competing for the ball. I just thought it was amazing. It was amazing all across. Exactly. I just thought it was an absolutely amazing game, and I've got the stat here, and it's quite a deceptive how the stats actually work. Look, Japan won that game in the first half. Let's be completely honest. They were the best team on the day in that first half. In the second half, they just scored that one try, and welcome to the show, Mohammed. Sorry, I was just reading your comment there. Japan won that game in the first half, definitely by a long shot. They scored 21 points in that first half. I think Scotland only scored the 7. They got that try straight over, that winning try at the end. Looking at it, obviously it was just tries. It was tries across the board, but you could see both teams needed to get tries. They needed to get the bonus point victories. But yeah, Japan topping that pool, absolutely amazing. That last 20 minutes of the game, it was from this 22 to that 22. Balls were being poached. Did you see that last two? I think it was 3-4 minutes. It was intense. The guys were all over each other. That was absolutely amazing at the end. It was what a great way to finish the pool stages. Yes, I know we've had some controversy with games being cancelled. But yeah, look, let's be honest. There was a reason it happened. Super typhoon, and and yeah. But yeah, what do you guys think of the game? Just put your comments down here on the side here, what you thought. I was looking at some of the other stats. The tackle percentages were only about 83%. That's a good question, Mohammed. That's a very, very good question. I wonder if other people in the channel could actually ask that. Mohammed's asking, let me put it up here. Asking, should we consider Japan a tier 1 nation? I think there's a few criteria to be a tier 1 nation, and for me, the criteria are: one, does the country have the cash to be able to support a tier 1 nation? Do they have a strong enough local competition to develop the players over time? They do have the cash, they do have the competitions to develop players over time. I'm not 100% sure, do they have the school system the feeder system into the thing? I'm not 100% sure about that. That would be a nice thing to find out. But there's a few things that have to be ticked before. Yes, beating tier 1 teams and knocking them over. Yes, you've got to do it fairly regularly to be a tier 1. But for me, I think they're so close. They made it to the quarterfinals. Think about it when Argentina made it to the quarterfinals. Before then, they weren't a tier 1 nation. Now we consider Argentina to be a tier 1 nation. I think so too. Do you think? I think that should be included in the Rugby Championship when the new competition, when the new TV rights get negotiated. I think they should hopefully be included. I don't think they're tier 1 just yet, but I think they are so close. They need to play regular games all the time, and you've got to win away from home. You've got to win at home. There's a lot of criteria for it. Like, I agree. I think Japan should be in the Rugby Championship. I also agree that maybe Fiji should be also included in the Rugby Championship. I don't think a Pacific Nation side will cut it. It has to be one of the Pacific nations. It can't be like a group, because it just won't work. It has to be one nation that gets the money, that has the TV deals, that push them through. And the only country that I can think of would be Fiji. And then we end up playing Rugby Championship the same way that they play Six Nations. So you only play each other once, and either home and away. Yeah, and I think you either play them home and away, and it also depends on the draw. So sometimes you may play New Zealand away this year, and then the following year you play them at home. I know the Six Nations are a little bit different because the countries are quite close, so it is quite easy to get the support around. But the Rugby Championship is a little bit of a different beast. But I don't want to end up having a super long competition. We want to. Everything must ride on that one game. The one game against New Zealand, and that's it. And move on, go on to the next side. I don't know what you guys think, because then you end up playing 5 games. Yeah, exactly. You just don't know. That's why I like the Rugby Championship this year. It was quick. It was over and done with, fast. Done. I think the big thing with what World Rugby needs to start developing now is obviously tier 1 nations have 12 to 14 tests a year against other tier 1 nations, and I think maybe we should have maybe 8 to 9 tier 1 tests, and then maybe three, because the only way a tier 2 nation is going to become a tier 1 nation is if they play tier 1 nations. That's it. You can't, like, just imagine Japan now going after the Rugby World Cup, and then they have to go play other tier 2 nations. It just doesn't make sense. The reason why they're improving over time is that they're playing against and they're beating tier 1 nations. So we have to start including more teams in that we play every year. So South Africa should go play Namibia once a year. I agree. It's growing exponentially all over the place. But yeah, I think South Africa should play Namibia once a year. Maybe play some other African nations once a year. I know that Africa has an Africa Cup. South Africa doesn't compete. They have competed before, but with just amateur sides. But they don't have to go send they don't have to send a full. Actually, they should send a full strength side, but they should actually start playing. And the same with New Zealand. They should go play some of the Pacific nations every year. Same with Argentina. They should go. I know they have a cup down there, but they should start playing them more often. And that's the only way that it's going to improve. So we'd end up having 10 tests or whatever, tier 1, and then 2 to 3 tests that are tier 2 tests. And that's the only way that it's going to be improving. And it has to be a direction from World Rugby that for every 3 tier 1 teams you play, you've got to play 1 tier 2 team. Yeah, I thought that was a really good idea. I saw that in the news that Namibia was saying that that maybe the British and Irish Lions should go play in Namibia. I think that is such a great idea. And because the British and Irish Lions seem to now only play South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. That's it. That's all they play. And it would be nice that they maybe have, because they have the weekly games against like Super Rugby sides, and then they go have the 3 tests. It would be nice that maybe they have those weekly games, not against all the weekly sides, but they go play in Namibia, or they go play Kenya, or they go play somewhere else to develop the game, to take it even further. So yeah, what a great game today. I was looking at some of the individual stats. Let's look at the player stats. I always look at defending first. I'm sorry to say, I think defending is an important part. Labuskaghni, 14 tackles. Luke Thompson, 16 tackles, 1 miss. That's pretty good. But I look at the Scotland side. Johnny Gray. I think it's Johnny Gray. 25 tackles, no misses. I agree with that. That is one thing I did like about today's game. It just seemed like it flowed. It was a game that flowed from start to finish. Very few penalties, very few stoppages. It just seemed like it flowed. No controversies, not that I could see. Maybe there's some will come in after the game. But I didn't see any controversies. I didn't see anything that bad happening. So yeah, that's what you can't finish a game like that and say, well, we were hard done by this way, we were hard done by that way. I think Scotland threw everything in the kitchen sink. I didn't think Finn Russell had the greatest game ever. I like that. He does play like he is 100-year-old and does play really well. But I didn't think Finn Russell had such a great game. I just think he did that one where they had the real overlap. There were 3 players. They had 2 Japanese players in front of him, and then he kicked through. I just thought, bloody hell, you've worked your whole way up the field to get to the point, and then you just kick. I just thought, no, come on. It just smacked of that you've run out of ideas. And the only way you were going to get through that defense was just to carry on through the phases and just carry on, suck in the defenders. And if it took 30 phases, that's how long it took. But kicking the ball away was not the brightest move in the world. I'm actually going to put this up here at the moment, just so we can see it. Actually, I'd forgotten that I had all of that. So there we go. I've got one more slide to show, and that's going to be obviously the next weekend's games. So yeah, not much more I can say. I'm happy for Japan. I'm sure they're going to be celebrating well into the evening. I'm terribly sorry for Scotland. But let's go look at next week's games. I'm just going to put it up here, because that's a great way of seeing who actually missed out. So let's see, we've got the group stages. So the teams that probably missed out are obviously Argentina. They were probably expecting. I was thinking about that today, Brian. I was thinking really about that today. And will it be a walkover. I just don't think so. I think the South Africans are big. Hey, Mark, welcome to the show. I think the South Africans are big. The Japanese play super fast. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk by a long shot. I think that the Japan side is well trained. They've got the crowd behind them. There's everything that's ticking in their favour. They play a fast game. I think I might be. But yeah, let's get back to this. And I think the teams that would feel hard done by probably Argentina. Argentina would want to have gone a bit further. Yeah, I think so. I think so, Stephen. I think it's going to be. I think next weekend's games are going to be an absolute thriller. So Argentina missed out. I think they'd be disappointed. I think Fiji were trying to also maybe get to the quarterfinals. I think they've had a really disappointing World Cup. I think Scotland came close. But yeah, I think those are the three sides that would probably be fairly disappointed with their World Cup campaign, especially Argentina and Scotland for not making it into the quarters. But look, the 5 teams that we all thought were probably going to make it through, made it through. So we're talking England, New Zealand, Ireland, Wales, and South Africa. Those are the 5 teams that I agree with you, Campo. I don't think the South African team I don't think Japan are an easy walk. I really don't think so at all. At all. And yeah. Hey, Joe, welcome to the show. Look, I think I'm just going to quickly run over the games for next week. So obviously, the 5 teams got through that we thought were going to get through. I think England, Australia. I think Australia still have a really good game in them. I think they really do. I think when Australia fire, they fire. But I just think England will just be way too strong for the Wallabies on the day. I really do think that. I just don't want my machine to. I don't think it's going to overheat. I think so too. I think our defence is going to be pretty good. Then the next game, New Zealand versus Ireland. I'll come back to that one. Wales versus France. I also think France have a big game in them, but I just think Wales are a bit of a class outfit, and I think they're gonna take it. Japan versus South Africa. Look, I have to go with South Africa. I can't not go with South Africa. If Japan were facing somebody else, I'd be supporting them, just as an underdog. But yeah, I have to go. I have to go with South Africa to win. New Zealand versus Ireland. Eesh, Joey, I think you may unsubscribe, but I don't know. I think New Zealand aren't the same side you faced last year. I think they've got some. I think their 10-15 split with Manga is a master stroke. Look, England, ABs, and France box. That's interesting, Joe. You know what, Joe? I don't think you should write off Ireland that quickly. I don't think you're carrying too many injuries. I think if you can get your game plan off the ground, play the way that you like to play, then yes. But that's assuming that New Zealand allow you to play that the way that you want to play, and yeah, that's going to be really, really difficult. Geez, I'm just waiting for my machine to know what I'm going to do, guys. I'm just going to switch this off because it actually uses up quite a lot of processing power to actually get that, have the graphic there at the same time. I think the Ireland game. The problem is you just cannot defend for 80 minutes against New Zealand, expecting that you're going to get a few little turnovers and win. It just doesn't work. South Africa came undone trying that with our defence. We came undone against Japan and against New Zealand. And I think if you're going to defend for 20, 25 minutes, I think it's going to be a long day at the office, because on average, New Zealand score 4 tries a game. That's the average. I think it's a little bit higher than that. It's always a little bit low at World Cups. But even if they're going to score at least 2 tries from their brilliance and 2 tries from some kind of turnover. The only thing that could affect that game in a real negative way is the rule changes, and there could be a red card. I think none of the teams. I don't think any of those teams would survive having a red card in the first half. None of them. Okay, I've seen New Zealand do it once or twice, but I don't think any of them would be able to survive the onslaught if they lost a player with the red card. So my predictions are we'll probably have England beating Australia, New Zealand beating Ireland. I've got Wales beating France, but the French they're a strange side. They're a real strange side. And then I've got South Africa beating Japan, and that's how I see it. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave most of this for my Thursday show. So Thursday, 8 o'clock, I'll get all the graphics together. Might phone my brother-in-law, see if he wants to join, and actually discuss the 4 games on the weekend on my Thursday show, because there's going to be a lot of talking. I think there's going to be so many pundits talking this week. It'd be nice to see what the teams are for the games. I think on Thursday we'll know the teams, and we'll be able to discuss it a lot more. But yeah, guys, it was such a great game today. It was such a nice way to end the pool stages with I wouldn't even say it was an upset. It was a really just a brilliant game, and I think the best team won on the day. I agree, Mark. I do agree. Mr. Rugby fan. Look, I just think there's going to be so much talking this week that we just leave it for Thursday when we see the teams. We see if Bundy Aki can get his thing dropped from a red card to a yellow. I doubt it. I really doubt it. I don't see that happening. But yeah. Great day of rugby, great victory for Japan. I do feel the best teams got through, according to what we saw. And yeah, but listen, guys, I hope you had an absolutely wonderful day. I really hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful week coming up. I think there's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of news, a lot of ideas, a lot of everything this week. I think the news is going to be overloaded with what's going to happen, who's going to happen, and it's going to be now the coaches are going to start saying this, and then Russie's going to say this, and Steve Hanson's going to say that. It's going to be a festival of news this week. But listen, guys, I hope to all see you all on Thursday. I'll schedule it for 8 o'clock. I'm not going to have a 6 o'clock until then, and 6 o'clock show until then. It's just going to be my big main show, and we'll try and make it quite a long one, and we'll try to talk about all the games. But listen, guys, have an absolutely wonderful week. Chat soon. Cheers. Bye.